Has not practiced. He's in the concussion there, so you might as well rule him out.
Is that kind of expected?
So I won't get text messages. What's that?
Is that kind of expected after seeing what happened?
Yeah. I mean, he was.
Everybody else in decent shape?
Yeah, I mean, the typical stuff late in the year, but got to battle through it. I don't want to get into what players, what percent, because everyone's dealing with it. March should be kind of recharged. Best time of year.
Will you start Tyler, or do you just go with your regular starting five?
I haven't even thought about it. We've sometimes these senior days are tricky if you're too emotional or you think too much about last time in here. So we've done so. We've just talked about DePaul and how great they're playing coming in. One of the hottest teams in the league, if not the hottest team, and have been incredibly impressive. It's one of the hottest and best players in the conference in Freeman Liberty.
What is he? What makes him so difficult?
Athletic ability, scoring at every level, the energy that he plays with. He's a different type of player, but he plays with this unbelievable energy, like a Latrell Sprewell played with years back, where he's just always in attack mode and just so kind of dynamic and athletic. And then at the defensive end of the court too, he's in passing lanes, makes splash plays above the rim. I mean, he's just a dynamic player. And with him and Jones on the perimeter, he got and Terry and Cavassier and Philmon, and they got a number of weapons and two really good centers and a four-man who's really good. This is not it's a team that's looking to have a winning season and is surging.
And you're losing a lot with these guys. If you look at the list of who's being honored tomorrow, I mean, do you think about just your contributions that they made during their career?
Yeah, I think locker room after the last game. You start kind of thinking about those things. I think just right now we're just, we've asked the administrative staff to take a lot of the ticket things out of their hands, and all of our hands. And I don't want to be emotional thinking about those type of things. Overall, as a group, I mean, these guys have meant so much to this program turning around. I mean, they're the real reason and book night, and Christian Vital and all the guys that have been here to get us to this point. Obviously, you're incredibly proud, and these are as fine a young men as you'll ever coach. They take hard coaching every day. They let us tell them the truth every day, and they've done something that's very hard and turned around a program.
Yeah, obviously, defense is the identity of this team. Second half at Georgetown, and then a lot of good parts of the other night. Just got to get back to that, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think the other night I think it was just a little bit, just I don't know if it was fatigue or lack of energy, a bad matchup in terms of style, or is it just the fundamentals? I think a lot of times have slipped, with this team, and I think I don't know if it's just something where we don't handle success well, and then realize that when we stray from our identity, we're as vulnerable as any team in this league. If we don't defend, we're not good enough at the offensive end to mitigate that. So when we don't play maniacally hard, we're not very good. Is basically it. Defense. If we don't play maniacally hard, we're not very good. So
Jordan's absence probably hurt you the other night. So that's kind of a tough loss for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it's not ideal. He was a guy that was really coming on and becoming a major weapon. So a little bit more out of Tyler. Gaff gets a chance to. Everyone wants to play more, and knows he'll get more of an opportunity to make an impact. Starter's got to be able to go a little bit longer. Brings a Cook back into the mix as well.
How does he kind of come back from his injury? How's he practicing?
It's tough. I mean, when you go out and miss 3-4 weeks, and they get thrown into late January, March games, it's tough. He missed probably a good 2 or 3 weeks with the foot. So, but games, teams like this tomorrow that play 2 traditional 5-men, they play a traditional 4-man a lot of minutes. And Johnson, who can step out, but he does most of his damage mid and in, mid-range and in. I mean, this is a game where a Cook could fit.
A guy like Matt Gary, obviously he's going to be on it too. He's those kind of behind-the-scenes kind of guys. What do they kind of mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not as glamorous. It's a cool experience for for the walk-ons, but it's a grind for them. Their practice meet. I mean, they're tackling dummies. They're pretty beat up by the end of the year. I mean, Matt, especially, he's been great for us, Matt. He's allowed up. He's a good enough player. We've had good enough walk-ons. We're blessed to have been good enough to actually be able to use them live in practice. Matt's got the battle scars too, where he's been on the court battling in practice, trying to help us get better. He's got the knee injury as like a scar from his time here. So Matt's had it's been great having Matt with us. I think the experience of Matt's been great too, because he's dealt with some adversity, and it's made him a better man and a tougher man.
Dan, you go first. Dan, you kind of mentioned that, or rather maybe jokingly, that this team really doesn't do well with success. Over the past couple of days, has it really sunk in for them yet? And if so, what have you done to sort of drum home that, hey, we're not done yet?
Yeah, it was a jarring loss. I think when you get away from your identity at the defensive end of the court, you become vulnerable. You lose after winning 5 in a row in the league. It's jarring. It knocks you on your heels. Again, I mean, look at how many times over the years. I think it had been 2008, 2009 was the last time they won 6 in a row here in conference. So we were trying to do something that's it's really, really hard to do, and we didn't play with enough energy. And again, if we're off that maniacally hard playing, we have to absolutely dominate the team that we're playing against with how hard we play. If we don't do that, that's our calling card. That's our DNA. That's the secret sauce. We get away from that, bad things will happen tomorrow, and they'll happen the rest of the month.
Is this team kind of where you want it to be heading into the postseason? Still got the one regular season finale, but looking back at the beginning of the season, is this a team that you feel can make a run?
Yeah, feel good. Feel great about what the team's done. Really feel great about the group. Through it all, with dealing with Adam and Tyrese, being out and missing some time, that hurt us. To get it to the point where we go 13-6 and get to 22 wins. Feel great about the year, and then would feel like we'd have as good a chance as anyone in New York to make the run. Our chances in the NCAA tournament to be successful. But again, the identity, maniacally hard playing, has got to be there.
They're going to be handing out awards next week in the Big East, and you've got a couple guys who are kind of deserving. Can you kind of talk about about your guys and when they kind of fit in the Big East?
Yeah, I think the voting's in, Gavin. So I can't politic for people for those awards.
Well, you can just do
the votes are in, though.
Yeah, but
I mean, listen, we've got obviously for us. We've had guys playing at a high level for us. Adam has been one of the best bigs in the country. Obviously, the Jabbar list, is that Trout?
Yeah.
I mean, to be on a list like that ahead of obviously the Big East Conference, that speaks to the way he's produced for us, the way he's developed in his young career here. RJ, I can't say enough about the way RJ's played for this team. And you hope he can close it out tomorrow with another great performance. He deserves it. But I mean, RJ's has absolutely squeezed the lemon completely dry this year in terms of what he's given us at both ends of the court. And stepping out, RJ's been unbelievable.
Seating aside,
Tyrese has moments, for us where he's been just as good. The foul trouble the other night might have cost us the game. We need him to stay at that level with RJ and Adama for us. Isaiah and Tyler as all the guys.
seating aside, do you prefer anything as far as teamwork next week? Playing at night or playing an early game? Because obviously there's more juice sometimes at night. Does that matter so much?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. Next week in MSG or in NYC next week is going to be crazy. I've been getting the ticket things for like 2 weeks. Stop. People gotta stop texting me, especially if you haven't gone to any other games this year, and then you come out of the blue and want Big East tickets. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough task.
You
Sorry.
can't even respond to that.
I might not text you back.
Yeah,
Just
just
a heads
say. Too late.
up. Something else?
Can you talk
Matt Gary starting last.
No, Dave. Don't put me in that position.
Did you say the greatest walk-on? What was it at the breakfast there in Middlesex? The greatest walk-on ever? No.
Yeah. Now I have
Way
the
back
family
when?
pressure, so it's tough. With Andrew, I've got to temper. If you notice, I tempered some of my remarks with Matt because I don't want to have walk-on jealousy right now, player on player, pitting them against each other. But I do want competition. So.
Dan, can you talk a little bit about what the seeding process gone through this past year, just really overall?
Yeah. They were all here for it. Isaiah and RJ and Tyrese or Tyler saw the bad and saw what really bad practices look like and a culture that's not formed and doesn't understand how to prepare to win. They saw it firsthand and they experienced it out on game night and the day after games and all types of situations. So I just think that their journey through sports, it's so much. It's going to be so much more valuable to them in terms of their life success because they've seen the bad habits that lead to failure. They've seen the good habits that lead to success. They understand, how people and organizations can fail or succeed. So, there's no more valuable lesson. Obviously, these guys are all going to have great pro careers, but they understand what leads to failure, what leads to success by what they went through here, by seeing both sides of it.
When you talk about maniacal effort on defense being the key to you guys, is it
And
beyond
on the
there?
backboard.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, and that's 10 floor
Backboard or
dives.
loose
that's,
balls.
That's 2 or 3 charges. That's 10 floor dives. That's 25 deflections. That's everyone contesting at the rim. That's getting after people to the point where you break their will. That's what we're built around. We're not built around beautiful skillfulness. Not this team. This team we got to be a bunch of dogs, like real dogs, like real ones, or else it doesn't work.